Hello, and welcome to By the Hearth podcast. I'm your hostess, Donna Kreis, and it's good to be back. I did stop doing these back in, I believe the last one I did was in May with Reverend Diania Beatty, also known as Mama D to me. And I stopped doing it. I don't know why. I just wasn't feeling inspired by it. But recently I started doing the coffee clutch with Donna and the Krew on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And something just told me that why not start doing my podcast again? And so here I am. So this is the first time that I am doing the podcast on Zoom. So I invited folks in, and I will continue to do that, but it seems like we are experiencing technical difficulties, and it will require working the bugs out a little bit. So, how are you doing? I know that this week is feeling very off-putting. Some of those who are close to me are looking a little bedraggled, and I'm not sure if they're experiencing the same things I am as far as frustration goes. But this week is just energetically feeling like a rocky road, and not the Rocky Road ice cream. That would be really good. It's just feeling very off-putting, frustration, and I have a group on Marco Polo, which I will be making available to subscribers in the near future, but it's called Trail Magic. And I dropped a polo in there just a little bit ago, and made note of this. It feels, this energy, it feels almost like being drugged into the darkness. And it feels like a test of how committed we are to our spiritual tools and techniques. And so how committed we are to them and how integrated they are into our lives. And it feels like if they don't have a firm enough hold, we could lose balance and fall into heavier, more challenging, I want to say despair, but it's not that bad, but it does feel like it could, like it has the potential to drag us into darker places. Balance was the topic that I was given for today. Back last month, we had the autumn equinox. And the autumn equinox is a period in time where the dark and the light are balanced. And so now we're moving into a period of darkness. And in our lives, that can be experienced by challenges. But more than anything, it seems it is a time for us to go within, to reflect, and slow down. Slow down. With the energy of the growing season, we have been racing forward, and cards are just falling out here. They're getting chatty, but we were racing forward and growing and expanding, and now it's time to dial it back and slow down. And maybe it's when we don't slow down enough, don't back off enough, that we start experiencing the rockiness. It's like on the treadmill. We have a treadmill over here. On the treadmill, you're walking along, and then all of a sudden it stops, and it's very jarring. It's you could hurt yourself. And I actually have a friend who I was talking to this about not too long ago, and she was telling me how she had been on a treadmill walking along, and the power went out, and it just stopped, and it threw her off. And that's like what we're experiencing now. Is it's not just stopping, though it can feel like that to us if we don't press the cool down button. The cool down button allows us to gradually reduce our speed. And that's what the universe is doing. But if we keep going at the same speed that we have been going, then it is going to be jarring. It is going to be rocky. And yes, this was something that I needed to hear as well, is we need to consciously slow down so that we're not tripping over our own feet, energetically speaking. But so I did have a couple fall out as I was speaking. The sun, and that's backwards, but the sun, bluebird. Your plans will work out well, bringing you happiness, prosperity, and success. You garner the recognition for your accomplishments. Oh, you'll garner the recognition for your accomplishments, so you so richly deserve. Oh my. Oh, I told you, it's kind of a bumpy week this week, and I'm tripping over my words. I also had 2 of autumn, the Abyssinian cat. You may be under stress because of multiple jobs or too many responsibilities for one person to manage. Thank you, universe. It's important to balance your work and personal life and bring a spirit of fun to all you do. Did you have to hear that too? I know I did. So it's balance. It's about simplicity. Simplicity. They talk about, there are those who talk about simplistic way of living, and these individuals are known as minimalists, and basically they just clear out all the clutter and only keep that which brings an energy of joy to them and that which is functional and useful. There was a time when I was working toward that. Our family was working toward that. And we were working toward homesteading, and we talked about living in a tiny house. So we did clear out clutter, and we've cleared out clutter every time we've moved. The thing is this can be applied not only to our physical life, but to our energetic and spiritual life as well, not just physical objects. We can clear out the clutter of doing and overdoing. A lot of times we feel like we just have to keep going, and we have to do all the time. But the truth of the matter is, we are not human doings, we are human beings. And a lot of times we don't spend enough time just being, just feeding ourselves, feeding our spiritual energy. And it's when we're not balanced, when we're not in alignment, that we start running into the challenges that come with not being aligned or balanced. That's when we start experiencing the rocky road. So if you're experiencing that this week, where are you doing or giving too much? What in your life no longer serves you? What is it that you are giving energy to that is not giving energy back? And when I speak of giving energy back, it's not just money. True, that is a necessary energy in our lives, but is it giving you any sort of pleasure? Is it filling a need in your life? Maybe a need to feel needed, a need to feel as though you're making a positive difference in the lives of others? Or is it just a black hole that sucks your energy? It's funny, but when they talk about coaching and teaching, they talk about how often the things that you teach to others are or is something that you need in your own life. So today's message, I'm glad to be sharing it with you, and I hope you resonate with it. But it is also, I'm realizing, a message from the Krew to myself. So it's funny how that works out. I know by talking to other teachers and other coaches that this happens quite often. So I got kind of distracted. That happens from time to time. I did have a card fall, and I'll grab that real quick. So it was the Prince of Spring. I'll show it to you, but it is reversed. The Prince of Spring, passionate, charismatic, confident, restless, dolphin. An opportunity arises that needs your attention right away. Moving quickly is important, yet there's nothing you can't handle if you follow your inner guidance. And it's all about following our inner guidance. And so this group that I'm going to be putting together is called Trail Magic. What is Trail Magic? It is a term I learned when my husband was in the process of preparing to walk the Appalachian Trail, to hike the Appalachian Trail, to travel along the Appalachian Trail. And he told me what it is that there are people who gather along the trail, and they'll sit there and they will give hikers a lunch or toiletries or things that they need or will need on their journey. So that's the idea of this group that I'm putting together, is trail magic. It's people helping people on this journey and sharing their resources and knowledge and being there to support one another as they progress. And because there is so much information out there, so many resources, that it often feels like being a child in a candy store with 50 bucks. And there's so much to choose from. Where do you even begin? And it's about following and trusting our inner guidance, the guidance, the divine guidance that we receive, and feeling into it. So it's trail magic, and that's where the name for the group came. And I hope you will join me on it. I will definitely make sure to post to my pages on Facebook about when it opens, when it launches. So if you would like to join me, I would love to have you. And now we go back to balance, the lesson of balance this week. What more does the Krew have to share about this? What more do we need to know? 10 of Winter, the Siberian Husky Dog. The end of a career path, project, or relationship brings feelings of mixed joy and sadness, relief and disappointment. Put aside your fears about these changes and trust that a brighter future awaits. So that is actually the energy that we have stepped into, that we are transitioning into. It is the end of the energetic year, at least as far as the Celts looked at it. We are finishing up the light part of the season and slowing down into the dark part of the season. One of the things that we need to remember is darkness does not equal evil. Darkness has been demonized. It is a slower energy than the light. It is a slower energy, but it is something that we learn to work with. It doesn't mean that it's bad. It doesn't mean that light is good, dark is bad. It's just a different energy. So when we talk about moving into the dark part of the year, think of it this way. So take a fishing village. Traditionally, they wouldn't go out as much. during the dark part of the year. They would go out when the sea was calmer, but when a storm hit, they would go indoors. They would commune with their families. They would repair their nets or make new nets. They would be productive on a different level. That is the same for us, even in these modern times. I was listening, it was Quarantine Kitchen with Alton Brown and his wife, Elizabeth. My husband and I love that show. We just sit, it's on YouTube. They do a live broadcast on YouTube weekly on Tuesday nights. Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern. And Elizabeth was talking about setting up a basically a movie screening club, because we are going into the dark part of the year. We're going to be spending more time indoors. And so she wanted something that we as a community could do together. Watch a movie and have them broadcast them watching a movie. I mean, it's really no different than Seinfeld. but yeah, and so it's she was talking about how many of us are still quarantined and cooped up in our houses, whether voluntarily or because we have to be. And now, because we're in fall, things are going to start cooling off. I know here in Myrtle Beach, tourist season is officially over. So the attractions are closing down for the year, and they won't open again until probably Labor Day, Memorial Day. That's it, Memorial Day next year. And so we don't go out much except into nature. It's actually the best time of year, I think, for us. But a lot of people are going to be stuck at home more. So Elizabeth was talking about having this movie screening club to have something fun to do together as a community. But that's what this time of year is. It's about slowing down. It's about going within, not only into our homes, but it's the time of year where many of us, myself included, kind of retreat from the outside community and go within and start journaling more, start reflecting more, start dreaming more about what I really want to create in my reality. And I had the Lovers Flamingo come out. True and long-lasting love finds its way into your life. Follow your heart with caring actions and choices. And for a lot of us, I've been feeling a lot lately that this card and other cards like it have to do more with self-love and learning to and nurturing a love of self. Extreme self-care. Extreme self-care is more necessary during unbalanced times than ever. And that can look different for you, look different for me. It looks different individually. What feeds your energy? What feeds your spirit, your soul? What feeds rather than drains? And I know that's something that I know a lot of other people, myself included, are running into right now, is with work taking up so much time and energy. Many of us are coming home and all we have the energy for is to just sit and decompress and recharge. And it makes it difficult when there's an inner belief that we need to be improving ourselves, to make ourselves better. And that card is pointing to the fact that we need to learn to love ourselves just the way we are in this moment. Not, how do I love myself when I lose 5 pounds or 10 pounds or whatever it is? How do I learn to love myself or make myself better so that I will love myself? We just need to learn to take care of ourselves, to nurture ourselves like we would a beloved child, to sometimes dote upon ourselves. One thing that came to me earlier when I was pondering on balance was the idea that 20% of what we do produces 80% of our success. And so say you have a bunch of things that you think will improve yourself. Narrow it down to 20% of those things and do them 80% of the time. I mean, even if it's make sure to take my supplements each day, or cut out pop, which some people call soda. Yeah, cut that out. Cut out caffeine. Just little things, not huge, daunting things, especially right now. Cut out the daunting, huge things right now because the energy is just not conducive to it. Mars is still retrograde, and Mars is the planet of action. So because it's moving backwards, we're just not feeling the desire to do these huge, daunting things anyway. Or if we do, they're really, really going to drain us. So dial it back. Take 20% of everything that you feel like you should do, dial it back to 20%, and keep them small things, because a lot of little stones put together, gravel, a lot of gravel will block the entrance to a cave just as much as a big honkin' stone or boulder. So just keep that in mind. Choose the little things that you can stay to consistently and make those your priority, especially right now. Balance. It's all about balance. And it's when we're not able to find balance that we misstep and start to descend into the heavier energies of darkness, and we don't feel good. So that is today's episode of By the Hearth. I am glad that you joined me, and I am so glad to be back to doing this. The last time I did this, I felt like I had to have others, other teachers, other coaches, other experts to support this vision, to support this show, this podcast. But in the time that I stopped doing this, I really have grown into myself, and my confidence has grown. And so I'm here to offer the wisdom and insights and tips, tools, and techniques that come through me from the Krew. And if you're new to the idea of the Krew includes Archangel Michael, Archangel Ariel, Archangel Raphael, and Archangel Haniel. However, it also includes Gus, who he's a guide of mine. I call him Gus, and Gus stands for God, Universe, and Spirit. And he is one of my main guides, and he likes being called Gus, so I stick with it. But it's just my Krew. It's my spiritual tribe of teachers, supporters, guides, angels, and they just filter the information through me, and I am more than pleased to be able to share it with you. So until next week, dear friend, may you be well, and I will talk to you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.